Hi, everyone.
What is it?
It's stat time.
Yeah. It is that time of the month where we go over the stats
Yes.
for, well, the first one's for Staten Island. Usually we're a week delayed, right?
Yeah.
It's been busy, so we have an excuse. And then the next one is New Jersey,
Monmouth and Ocean.
and we'll be doing something tomorrow too. So,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you're gonna get tired of us. You tired of us yet? You could just leave a comment in the back.
No. No.
So we have a few things to go over. The
Yes.
summer's coming to an end,
Yes.
and a lot of things are going on, right?
Mm-hmm. We got a lot.
Where were you this week? Where were you this week?
I was in Forked River.
We
We all were.
She called it forked. It's forked.
Forkin?
Forked.
Oh, forked.
Yes, for kid, like for and kid.
Okay.
So you know,
Okay.
you said the New York way. I'm gonna make her watch all the YouTube videos that we
Forked.
produce, and it actually made fun. They could tell you are an out of towner if you're. But I know Forked River, and we have Gabs in the audience today, so she's on the list. They can't see you waving. Anyway, so the big thing is that the stats are in, and a couple of highlights, right?
Mm-hmm.
That we're going to be going over.
Yeah.
You have those highlights.
Yes, I do.
What are the highlights that we'll be going over today?
So we will be going over the sale to list price ratio, sold median listing, pending average listing, sold average listing, sold average sale.
We were going to narrow this down. We're like,
there's just eight numbers that really
stand out.
Stood out to us.
And this is 8 questions Kerry is really going to dive into with me on what's going on, because this market is absolutely bananas. And if anybody doesn't know, I'm going to tell you before we even get into the stats, this is not the same market it was a year ago. And there isn't a person out there, I mean, we just know. So if you guys are selling, I'm going to tell you off the bat, it's a slower market, and I think people water seeks its own level, and I think that's the same thing with real estate. So people have like this, expectations are slow to unwind. So you're likely to be on the market a little bit more, obviously, especially if you're in some parts of New Jersey. We'll got to get into those things. Also, basically, there's just a few reports out there that are a little bit disconcerting. I think foreclosures in Manhattan ticked up a bit. I just saw a report today that foreclosures in Nevada ticked up a bit, still way below pre-pandemic levels. So it's historically low. So I don't think there's anything, but there is a general weakening. We could say that with some degree of surety. The other thing is that rate cuts are basically we're basically looking at a September rate cut. There's a 90% chance the Fed cuts rates. It's not necessarily indicative of mortgage rate decline. So guys, do not necessarily believe that that's the case. So, and that the reality was that the rates were cut twice already, and they really didn't impact mortgage rates much. And that's something that we call that, it remains to be seen exactly how that plays out, because mortgages are based on 10-year treasuries. 10-year treasuries determine where rates will be. And I don't think that, I don't think there's going to be that big of an adjustment if it's only a quarter point difference. If they go the half a point difference, probably see some movement on the upside. And that's the real key. Inflation data was hot today. It's a weird market. It's a scary market. I will say that. I'm a little bit more apprehensive than I've been in quite a while about like the direction. The direction of the market is very hard to predict. So, okay, Gab, you can sneeze.
Trying not to.
I heard like a little like a whimpering
Yeah.
cough. So anyway, where we're going to go with this is basically to tell you what Staten Island looks like. So we'll get into that, and we'll get into those numbers. I've intentionally avoided my glasses because I really need another pair of glasses. I'm just too damn busy. Some people will say maybe just preoccupied to get a new one. So you'll see me put them on. My grandpa glasses are on.
No.
Yeah. Carrie says she hates them. She didn't say that here, but she said it to me in private. She's like, you really do need to get rid of those glasses.
No.
Yes, you did.
I do think that
you need the
round glasses are now in style.
Yeah. I don't know for the round glasses. I don't know. I don't think you have to have a face for round glasses.
Yeah.
Like if you have glasses, sorry guys, but if you have glasses, eyeglasses, I think like your face has to be like really square. I don't know if my face is really square.
My face, I have round glasses. I guess I have a squared face.
Better than a square head. Anyway, yes. Let's get into the numbers.
Yeah.
And we'll see where we go from there. Yes. Oh God, this has not been an easy week. It's like someone's just tempting me to snap out. Sorry. It's one of those weeks.
Yeah.
You know, I'll get over it. At least it's Thursday, right? And we have a wedding coming up. That's going to be fun. We have, in September, right? Right around the corner, Gab's tying the knot. Yes. We've been giving her advice all week. She's been getting advice from the outside world. Right? I think you've gotten a lot of advice this week.
Every appointment we went on, we asked them.
So, anybody else have any wedding or advice? Please leave it in the comment section. We'll be sure to pass them along. Just leave them in the comment section. But anyway, let's get into the numbers, Carrie, because we're too busy fooling around this.
Yes.
We have to have a laugh or we'll cry.
That's true.
Go ahead.
So, the first thing I'm going to start off with is the sale to list price ratio. So that is now at 97.7. Yeah. It has gone down 0.51% year over year, but it has also gone down 0.51% year over year.
So basically 0.5% each year. The interesting thing about this, it's at 97.7. Last year was at 98.2. And as we go through these numbers, there's definitely some pressure on the downward side here. Month over month, especially. Month over month numbers, most of the numbers we're going to be talking about are on a decline. Year over year, they're still above what they were a year ago. But I mean, as we go through these numbers, we'll tell you what it means directly for you as a seller or a buyer. But here's the thing that the absorption rate hasn't changed much. Basically, it's the same as it was a year ago. The absorption rate is months inventory. I know I told you not to add that, but the absorption rate it's not. There's no change to the absorption rate. So before anybody goes like thinking that the world's going to fall apart and housing prices are going to get cheaper, I don't see this happening. And I always said there's something called the Great Melt Up, which is taking place. I see asset prices they can't seem to control inflation in the way that they want to. So as long as that continues its play, and I don't see any change to that based on there's a lot of things that's too big to really get into, like what that means. But I don't see downward pressure on prices overall. That would include houses, milk, or bread. So it's going to be, you're going to still see these things keep creeping up. And I think for the housing market, you may see a little fluctuation here or there. It could be, at the worst, maybe 4%, which is, for most people, it's not going to be noticeable. It's not going to be a noticeable change because the year over years are still high. So that's where I want to leave it. So you had said they were down. The sales to list price ratio is something we want to look as a leading indicator. That has eroded just a little bit. And for Staten Island, 97.7% is definitely lower than it's been for quite some time. I mean, I have to go back into the data sets to see, but I believe that's on the lower end than it's been for a while. So sellers are willing to give a bigger discount. Not much, like I said, 0.5%, but you know, a 98.2 to a 97.7, definitely showing some softening there.
Yes. So the next thing is the sold medium listing.
Yes.
So that has increased year over year almost 3%, but month over month it has decreased 2%.
Okay, so the sold median listing. So this is basically what the median price of the house was. What it was listed at when it sold. So there's been really no change. To be frankly honest, it was down 2%. The thing was, it was down 2% month over month. And you have to remember that is basically a snippet of what happened just about a month ago, about 3 months ago. So the snapshot you see when you deal with sold usually takes 3 months to report, maybe 2.5, 3 months, sometimes even 4, but most of the time 3 months is a good measure. So that we're looking at something that happened 3 months ago, essentially.
Sorry, I moved around.
I'm gonna bring you a cat.
My cat.
So you can pet her.
Oh, okay. Let's do it.
She had the cat in the office the other day.
Yes, I did.
But the sold median price being at 963, 693, 950. So basically, it's down 2% month over month, up 2% year over year. So people are purchasing a little bit less of a house right now. Not anything too. It's one of those what I call be weary numbers, because it's really saying that there's an absorption of people who could actually afford housing, and I think as we get through this, if things remain elevated with interest rates, what's happening is the people who can buy at these prices will peter out of the market and not leave much for the people who can't. It's just there's not enough people who make the income necessary to support what's happening, and I think that's something that's never really talked about. But one of the things we see is like everybody says, well, these people have money, and it's like, yeah, they have money, but once you get through this crop of people who did have the money to purchase, how many people after that do at these prices and at these rates? That's really why you're seeing this kind of peter down a little bit. So the people are actually, it looks like people are coming a little bit. They're looking at cheaper housing as a way to go. So that's really how that number is being impacted. So what's the next?
The pending average listing. So year over year, that has increased I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The pending average listing has increased year over year 4%, but has decreased 7% month over month.
7%.
Yep.
That's a big difference. So the pending is down. So this is what, like, these houses haven't closed yet, but on the pending, it's down 7%. 7% is quite. That's a big number for a month over month difference. It's meaning that, and I'm going to tell you right now. So before we even continue, a lot of these numbers are down month over month. The question is how far does this go? Does it go 3 months? Does it go? Is this just one of those reports that's more of an anomaly? We've seen that happen. I always say 3 months is really a trend. I don't see the number coming down 7% month over month in pending average listing price. So that means people are still they're definitely buying smaller. They're going smaller on their home purchase as far as price is concerned.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. What do you have next?
Next is the sold average listing. So the sold average listing has increased year over year, almost 3%, but decreased month over month about 5%.
Yeah, sold average listing.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the sold average listing is down. Let's like put that against the sold median sale price is down. Sold average sale price is down.
Yeah.
So we'll hit those three sold. You know, the sold average listing is down. All three stats are down almost 5%. Sold average listing is down 4.5%. So these three numbers, it's not something you see. It's not common to any. We haven't seen that happen like those three numbers come in at like basically all down. Usually with the sold average listing usually would be boosted up because people on the higher end of the market will basically look at and say, hey, we still have purchasing power, we still want to move forward with it. They've really propped up the market. I can't say on the average, sold average, that there's been a big discrepancy between the sold median, both here in New Jersey, sold median sale price and the sold average sale price has seen quite a divergence because the higher end of the market, unusually, which usually doesn't happen in weaker markets, the high end of the market is doing phenomenally well, and the mid tier is not doing quite as well. That doesn't mean everybody who has a high end house is seeing 1,000 offers, but this report specifically is highlighting that even in those markets, we're starting to see a little come down in terms of where people's, what they're willing to buy at this point. And being down 4% across the board, almost 5% across the board. Like I said, sold average sale down 4.8%. Sold median sale down 4.9%. It's quite year over year they're still up though. So each one of them is up 1.5 on the sold median sale price and 2.49 on the average sold price. Why is there such? So if anybody who's watching, the two things is sold average and sold median. Median takes the top and the bottom off to give you a more balanced look at the market. And this is why I said the higher end of the market is doing well, because you'll see this has been a consistent theme that the new average listing is basically always been accelerated over the sold median sale price. The sold average sale price and the median average sale price has seen divergence. So the sold averages have been much higher than the sold medians because of the higher end of the market really picking things up from basically where they were, where basically high end buyers are. There's more purchasing power in there, and they're definitely bidding higher on higher end homes, and that's happening at a more frequent rate than your regular middle class house. So that's something that has been noted. I don't think just here. I think that's noted around the country. Stock market is good. High end buyers are there. Stock market bad. High end buyers are not there. Stock market's is at record highs again. After a little spooking of the market back in March, I believe. So, it's a wacky market to say the least. This is good. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So what's up next?
The new listings. The new listings have increased year over year 7%, but decreased month over month 7%.
Okay, so the decrease on the new listings, 7%, is seasonal, but the new listings coming up on the year is up. The amount of active listings is up okay, so there's a divergence here, right? There's active listings here. I'm going to just tie these two in together so you know where I'm at. So basically, the active listings are down 2% over the year, but they're up month over month. So this is not new listings. This is houses that are actually active on the market. So that's up almost 4%. That is not something that definitely is a tell on like where the market's going, because it is showing a bit of softening in the fact that more active listings are on, even though new listings are down. Active listings continue to increase. So we look at the new listings coming on the month is down almost 7%. So, and they're up, they're up. The amount of active listings is up. So it's down. So less people are putting their house on the market, but active listings are increasing.
Yeah.
So that's something you pay attention to. That's why you're seeing a little bit of softening in the month's inventory numbers of the absorption rate. It's definitely not as robust. So guys, if you're selling, buying, and folks, I'm not going to say this again because everybody likes these market reports to say, hey, is it a good time to buy or sell? And nobody's timing this out in the way that they think they're going to time it out. It never works out that way. So the most important thing I could tell you is basically whatever market you're buying in is whatever market you're selling in if you're a buyer and a seller. So when you really weigh out the figures, if you're moving, I always say down markets are actually, if the market is down a bit or slower, moving up to the higher end isn't such a bad idea, because usually, although this market I've proven otherwise, usually if prices decrease at the higher end, but that doesn't happen. So maybe I have to reevaluate that strategy. But there is really no perfect time to do this, and nobody really knows exactly where things are going. But I will tell you this: you will see, you'll see some people a little bit frazzled by the way the market's behaving right now. So it's definitely not where it was, and I think people need to be acknowledge that, especially after this report. We'll see what happens in the next one. But my general sense of things, this hasn't developed into what I call a hard trend, but it's a trend that we should be noticing some of these deficiencies. Go ahead, sorry, Scary.
The sold listings have decreased year over year, up 2%, but increased month over month 7%. Sold listings.
So sold listings are down, right?
Year over year they're down, but they're up month over month.
Yeah. Wow. Mm-hmm. So overall sales are down 3%. That's not fantastic news. That's actually, I would say that's a surprise number. For August, I'm a little bit surprised at that. One of the things I would say, that one piece that sold listings is, not that it's a lot. I think it went from each month it's averaging around 260, which is horrible. As a general, 200. I've been doing Staten Island. I've been in Staten Island for now 20 years of doing this. These types of numbers in the 200s have generally not been great news for at least the market here. Usually in healthier markets, you want to see closer to 300, a little over 300. These numbers are pretty low as a comparison for sold homes for the borough as a whole. I think, what was it? June, there was only 243 sales in June, which is if you sold me in June, that's number's so bad. Oof, that's not a good number. 243 in June, which is like usually the highest closing month. Usually it's February the lowest, and June is the highest. June, July is usually the hottest for like sold. That's it, I will say the numbers though here are rather, they're not impressive. So, but I'm going to tell you this, guys, if you are selling, you got to pay attention to your offers now. You really do. I've seen it. We've come close on a few things. People are overestimating what's available after the next negotiation. And I'm telling you now, you're making a big mistake. Anybody who's attempting to change, like, guys, if you have to negotiate something at 5,000, 3,000, 1,000, like, negotiate it. I'm telling you, the last thing you really want to start doing in the environment right now is like saying tempting fate based on because you're angry at the person for asking for these things. Deal with the fact that it's in front of you. That's the only thing that's there. Everything else is speculation. Say, oh, well, someone said my house is worth more. That someone isn't buying your house, that someone is probably not correct. I've said this before, and I've done this 1,000 times. I've seen more people make bad moves in these, and not saying it's a bad market. I'm not saying it's, but you have to pay attention to the offers that are in front of you, or else it really becomes like people will turn around and make a bad mistake that could be not just, a $5,000 replacement of like a water heater, or like 500. Well, it's not even 5. It's about 900 now. What are the average water heater now? Do you know? Sorry, I'm calling research on the fly. She's gonna have to Google it while we're here. She's gonna give me the latest price on a water. What do we got?
It says it's definitely not 600, but it says 600 to 3,900.
Yeah. All right. That's when it's still one of the few bargains left in America. Hot water. But yeah, I'd say it's about $700 at least locally for a new one. I've seen deals fall apart in real estate when things were turning not so great, and people would argue over that. And then when it came to their final offer and they had to move, they were off $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 when they went back back on the market. You have to be guys. I'm not going to say this. I know some agents are better at this than others, so you have to really trust. Nobody's going to really. I mean, if they're really good at what they're doing, they're not going to tell you something that's going to harm your value by saying, you're going to need to consider this because I think this is a very good offer. And based on what I've seen in some other instances, it's not something I would tempt fate on. A water heater, a couple of things missing, around, a couple of tiles missing on the roof. These are not the types of things that you really want to be negotiating. You're going to have to kind of stick that there's not likely to be something much better than that, just the next one off. And likelihood is that you're going to be dealing with the same issue again with the next buyer. So please don't get so upset. I know it's personal. These things are very personal when people take if they take it as a swipe against their house, and it's a negotiation. So please I've seen too much of this and too many mistakes made specifically in this. So just remember, patience, work it through. If there's another number that comes in, obviously you can do what you want. But if you're only dealing with one, you have to really think of it as the thing you need to be focused on. That's the only person who is in the running. Do not assume that there's a better one down the pike. It's not always the case. So just remember that. All right.
Yes.
That's it, right?
Yeah, that's all the stats.
Yeah.
That we have.
So what's going on this weekend? You don't even know?
I'm going out to eat. Yeah, that's about it.
I think you said you're going snowboarding.
Snowboarding? Oh, not yet, at least.
But anyway, you want to tell them to look at our YouTube channel?
Yeah, check out our YouTube channel, guys.
Yes.
We have been doing really good on there. We've been making a lot of videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're taking off. So check out our YouTube. What?
Just tell them. Subscribe.
Subscribe to us. Subscribe.
I'm gonna put. She's so good on camera, except when she gets live, she gets shy.
I do.
How do you get over that?
Getting shy?
I mean, you're not that shy. You're here, so it's not like I couldn't get you on the camera.
Yeah.
Because you see our other videos, and she's like, you're pretty good with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, like this girl has got the whole confidence things. Like she still gets shy.
On live, I'm a different person.
She likes to have a script.
I do.
But we're working on getting her completely unscripted, because when we get to the next level, you're going to see really unscripted stuff. Look, she's already like stretching out.
I'm getting ready for it.
But I think the next few months are going to be really interesting ones. So I invite you guys to stay tuned, because I do think a lot of stuff. We've changed a lot of things. We're changing with the times. And we're very happy to be growing. Not to say that Facebook isn't great. It is to a large degree. But we're on TV more. That's the interesting thing. About 70% of our tour videos are watched on TV. So we're on the big screen. Hopefully you'll be seeing more of this type of stuff on the big screen. Obviously, when we fix up a nice studio, have more lighting.
Yes.
And this has been like this for a little bit. But when we kind of move things around a bit, you'll see that we'll be doing things with a new format. So I invite you guys to come along on this amazing journey, because this has been a journey it's really, and one day we'll talk about it, because it's been an exciting couple of years.
Yes.
And I think that the future is bright. We have a lot of things. I can't tell you the shocking amount of like how much YouTube has grown.
I know.
It's really shocking. Yeah. I mean, we're now pushing around 50,000 people a month, which is not an easy accomplishment on that platform. No. So we're definitely seeing like really things change there. So we invite you to go there. And as we advance our content, I'm sure you'll be seeing much more different programming and some new things and new features. And Above the Streets, don't forget Above the Streets, which is a new series we have on YouTube, which takes people through. We used to do neighborhood tours, but we begin to coin it Above the Streets, which is like, and they're going to get a little bit more immersive. They're going to get into like more like lifestyle components of life. We just did one in Chelsea, which like talked about how the rooftop decks and rooftop amenities are changing the landscape of real estate, and how it's really affected values, and how it's really changing lifestyles in our urban environments. And it may happen here too, soon enough.
Yes. So stay tuned.
So stay tuned. Absolutely. Guys, have a great weekend. No, not weekend. We'll be doing this again tomorrow. Yeah. We'll see you tomorrow. And if you have any questions, please feel free to put them below.
Yes.
And like, subscribe, and share if need be.
Yes.
All right. Ciao, guys.
Bye, guys. See you tomorrow.